Coming up on this episode of NPS Now, Norfolk Public Schools named its newest Teacher of the Year. Virginia's governor visited Norview High School during Teacher Appreciation Week. And the month of the military child was celebrated at a special event. Later in the show, we'll get an up-close look at the largest NJROTC on the East Coast, and it's right here in Norfolk. All that and more next on NPS Now. Hello and welcome to NPS Now, your source for news and information about Norfolk Public Schools. I'm your host, Karen Tanner. It's that time of year again when Norfolk Public Schools selects its district-wide Teacher of the Year. The finalists were narrowed down to the top 3, one from each level of instruction: high school, middle school, and elementary school. This year's winner was Kelly Lowe from Poplar Halls Elementary. Ms. Lowe is a first grade teacher with 9 years of teaching experience who is excited to be representing Norfolk Public Schools and looks forward to helping the district move forward.
It is a platform, a wonderful platform to be a voice for the teachers in Norfolk, because we all do our best every day. We all love our kids every day. And I love where Norfolk Public Schools is going, and I want to be a part of the change, and I want to help everybody else be a part of the change as well, because I know there's a lot of willing people who are ready.
Virginia Governor Ralph Northam stopped by Norview High School during Teacher Appreciation Week. He began his visit by talking with educators about their concerns and expressing his gratitude to teachers for what they do on a daily basis. After the meeting, Governor Northam took on the role of teacher as he taught AP Biology and Anatomy students. The governor, who is a doctor by trade, spoke with these attentive students about the nervous system, physiology, and medical ethics.
We needed to review the nervous system with my students for their test on Monday, so it was perfect information. I loved that he brought ethics into it, because that was it's something we don't have time to touch on during the school year, but something that I like to do after testing is over, so it's something that was interesting.
I was really impressed with what they knew about anatomy and also about physiology, how electricity moves through our bodies. But then when we talked about ethics, I'm always fascinated to just hear where different people are coming from. And I think initially they had some thoughts that after we talked about it, I think some of them changed their minds a little bit. So it was just a wonderful discussion, and it's all about being human and being empathic and understanding how other people feel. So it was a great discussion.
The lesson was very immersive, and I learned a lot from it, and that sometimes ethics doesn't line up with law, and that it's understandable to know when it's good to be following the law and when it's to consider the family when doing certain procedures. And through the conversation, we talked a lot about how sometimes there's multiple options and they lead down different roads. So it's best to learn about all possible things, and then that'll lead to the best conclusion.
I thought that was really interesting. I actually didn't know that that was something they taught in medical school, like in depth, like a class. And it was really interesting to hear about the methods that they would use when someone's in a vegetative state. I actually didn't know anything about that, so that was really interesting.
I think it's so important, because too often we say politicians run for education, and once they're elected, they run from it. Governor Northam has certainly done the opposite of that he's been here to demonstrate his passion for education, and not only for education itself, but the fact that education is the great equalizer, and that our students can aspire to do whatever they can. And guess what? They are the future for taking care of this city, this Commonwealth, and this nation.
Norfolk Public Schools recognized the month of the military child by hosting a special event at Norview High School. Out in the Commons area, guests could enjoy the All-City Jazz Ensemble while looking at student artwork or visiting military-related vendor tables. During the program in the auditorium, several speakers talked about the strength of military-connected students and the importance of supporting them. But the highlights of the evening were the variety of student performances that included singing, instrumentals, readings, theater enactments, and 2 drill team presentations.
It's tremendous. I think it's anything that we can do to remember and recognize the sacrifices of military families and what military students navigate as they go from school to school, and a school system like Norfolk who celebrates it, who draws attention to it, and makes students feel special. I think that's terrific.
There's a really close connection between Navy readiness, military readiness, and what the family does at home. So without the family support at home, the military member is not focused when they're deployed and they're doing the mission away from home. So there's a strong connection there. The Navy really recognizes that. So when the city and the school district recognizes this, it's wonderful. I think it's just fantastic.
Approximately 5,000 children in Norfolk Public Schools are connected to the military, and we need to celebrate them during the month of the military child because of all of their sacrifices. Not only do their parents make sacrifices for our country, but they do as well, and we certainly want to acknowledge and celebrate that.
Military children experience so many moves throughout their lives that having deep roots and deep connections is tough for them. And being able to show them that while they're here in Norfolk, we care, we want to make sure we acknowledge the challenges and issues that they face, and at the end of the day, they do have a place to call home in Norfolk Public Schools.
Students at the Academy for Discovery at Lakewood got to explore different worlds and a variety of subjects in a unique way, thanks to technology provided by Google. Cell phones on selfie sticks were used by students to facilitate an augmented reality where students were able to look at places, people, and things in 3 dimensions.
We are doing Google Pioneer. Several people have heard about Google Expeditions. This takes it one step further, where the teacher gets to lead a lesson, and you can hear the excitement behind me. And right now they're exploring ancient Rome. They're looking at Cleopatra. They've looked at a Roman ship, and they get to tour and walk through the ship in exciting ways, and they have been so excited about this. It's crazy.
So the kids were actually really engaged with this process. It really brings it to life for them. So instead of sitting and reading a textbook, they're getting hands-on experience with the augmented reality. So they get to see what the ship was like, and they can zoom in, they can see the oars and the caverns that people used. And then for the Colosseum, they can actually go and analyze the arches and talk about the types of architecture that have been used in building that structure.
I like it better this way because you can move it around and stuff. Besides just looking in the book and reading it, you could explore it.
I think it helps me learn better because if somebody asks me what are some details in it, I'll know because I get to look inside of the architecture. And if I look in a book, it'll just show the sides of it, so it's better.
St. Helena Elementary welcomed their partners from ADP for a morning of fun as they learned more about coding and robotics. ADP, a business solution firm located in Norfolk, sent several representatives to assist students with basic coding and show them how coding works with robotics. The goal is to get students involved early in computer science and create excitement that could lead to possible future careers in coding.
So what we're doing is we're teaching them a coding program on code.org. So we're going through the basics of, how do you write code, how do you make the step, and then we basically put it into real life and say, hey, you just did Java. Oh, they're loving it. They're having such a great time. They're really getting involved, and then when they hit a roadblock, they go back and they work out. So they're really figuring it out. It's just really cool.
It was a blast. It was awesome to see some of our kids from summer school last year remember what we taught them. And honestly, I look forward to seeing the partnership with ADP grow to where we can maybe have some coding clubs and have kids understand Scratch and Scratch Junior, because we really do believe that these skills and tools will help them have a different college and career path.
Norfolk Public Schools administrators, city officials, members of the military, and construction workers were all in attendance for the topping off ceremony at Camp Allen Elementary, the last of the 5 schools being built thanks to a public-private partnership. Attendees signed the ceremonial last beam and enjoyed a delicious lunch to celebrate this milestone.
This is going to be a wonderful school. The plans for this school are beautiful, And this shows us the cooperation that the military has with the city of Norfolk and the importance of the military to us. And so, of course, to see this number of people come out indicates our great appreciation for the military families that we serve.
Totally different. Had to shape it around a little bit. Has a lot of military standards in it. Few larger facilities in here that we had to work around, and a lot of protection things here because of the military kids that'll be here. So it is entirely different, and the government's been really good to work for. The federal government really stepped up to the plate and showed their energy and effort by putting their money up into this facility as well. So it's been great.
Well, Norfolk has the largest naval base in the world, and we are codependent. We coexist with the military. So to have a school with the military parent and military child in mind is certainly important to the city as well as to the military.
What a great opportunity. This has been a long time coming. The partnership between the City of Norfolk and the Navy has been incredible. There were funds that were applied to this program. We have a lot of military-connected kids that attend the program here, so it's great that we're going to be able to provide an environment like this to help them with their educational process.
What started as a vision from Booker T. Washington High School's principal and senior class turned into reality. With help from the Botanical Gardens, Booker T's courtyard has turned into a senior garden. To celebrate this occasion, the school had a ribbon-cutting ceremony and cookout. Joining the senior class for the celebration were members of previous BTW classes.
Well, I think the new courtyard is a good space for students to come out and eat and enjoy each other's company. Seeing how the colors came together, the color scheme, and watching transformation from how it was in the beginning, how nobody really came out here, how gray it was and how dark it was, and how we brightened it up and gave it a new feel and gave it a new light.
I think it's beautiful. It's a really peaceful place to just come and sit out and eat. Nothing's going on in here. We worked really hard on it. We're even growing food back here. It's really nice. But it's really nice to be able to get out and enjoy the weather. And even some classes, like the senior classes, of course, can come and sit out here and have their classes, do their reading. So it's just a nice little area to come and breathe.
Approximately 400 NPS middle and high school students attended a healthcare expo at the Norfolk Scope. Dozens of representatives from groups including Centera, Old Dominion, Norfolk State, and Children's Hospital of the King's Daughters were all on hand to talk with students about their futures in medicine. This unique opportunity enabled our students to get some hands-on experience with actual medical equipment and provided them with information about other medical fields they might be interested in.
This one right here with the ODU, looking at the cells, trying to see if we can spot cancer and stuff like that, which is pretty cool. And then the sports medicine back here, like the trainings and stuff like that, which is pretty nice and pretty cool.
It's furthering my education with my knowledge on which program I would want to go to. So it gave me more background knowledge on what I would want to do and new opportunities I didn't know about. Because half of these I never know or knew before.
I actually want to do neurology. I want to start in biochemistry and finish in neurology in college. And this really is a lot of information. They give you a lot of choices as to what you can do after high school to start pursuing whatever you want to do.
Members of the Principals Preparation Program, or P3, attended their final session together in early May. This unique program is designed to prepare assistant principals for prominent leadership positions throughout the district.
High-performing organizations always think about succession planning and how do we build a bench for the future, because that's how we get sustainability of great progress, we get continuity of the vision and what happens. And so having this P3 Aspiring Principals program was very important for us to begin to invest in those who could possibly be our next round of strong school administrators, school leaders, and it's really important for us to do that.
Today they'll have the opportunity to sit with the appropriate director along with Dr. Rogers and possibly Dr. Cataldo. They're going to be talking about how the work we've done connects with the theory of action. They'll be talking about their individual leadership profiles and learning things that they can continue to do so that they can move toward the path of the principalship.
This program
allowed me to collaborate with colleagues who were also looking to move into principalships. We were able to interact with members of the district leadership team. We were able to have FaceTime with them to ask questions and to build our knowledge base in our toolboxes as far as how Norfolk Public Schools operate.
Well, the principal preparation program, the P3 program, has really gave me the opportunity to share my knowledge to not only to my colleagues, but to my executive directors and the district lead members from downtown. Also learning from people that's already in the role of principals. They came and shared their first year experiences. So giving us an upper hand on when we become principals in the future.
A program like this has prepared me well for a principalship because I'm able to collaborate with colleagues, learn about some of their leadership philosophies. A key piece I thought was interviewing aspiring assistant principals and finally talking with some of the district level leaders and seeing what they expect from their principals. And the whole program has done an excellent job of getting us ready for our next step.
If you have any great story ideas or events happening at your school, please be sure to contact us at NPS_news@NPSK12.com. Stay tuned for more NPS Now. Welcome back to NPS Now. With us today are two very special guests. We have First Sergeant Christopher Bertrand of Norview High School's NJROTC teacher and Norview's Cadet Captain Rachel Sprouse. Get that right. Welcome to NPS Now.
Thank you.
We're glad to have you all here. We enjoyed you at the Month of the Military Child event several weeks ago. You gave an awesome performance, and so we said, you know what, we have to get you all on this show to talk about your organization. So first, First Sergeant Bertrand, I want to get your title correct. Tell me a little bit about your background and how you've headed up Norview's program.
Okay, well, I spent 22 years in the Marine Corps, and I retired exactly to do something like this. And I came to Norview 13 years ago, and really loved the program, working with high school students, getting them out in the world, training them and preparing them for after high school. Thing.
Right, so what does NJROTC stand for? That's very long and a lot to say. You can't say it 3 times, but what does it stand for?
NJROTC stands for Navy Junior Reserve Officer Training Corps program.
And currently, how many students are enrolled in this program, and how do you recruit students?
Well, we have an average of 400 in the last years I've been here, but we're at 400. We start for like 420. We're between 400 and 420. Right now we're at 400 students. We're the largest program on the East Coast.
What grade levels?
We have grade levels from 9 to 12. Okay, and we have we generally have about close to 200 first year students, and the rest of them are second, third, and fourth year students. We normally, our program is fed by the other middle school programs. We will go and actually ask them if they want to do ROTC, or their teachers will ask them, their counselors would ask them. But we have to do that much recruiting. Most of them just come to the program because they want to do ROTC.
So why did you want to come to Norview's NJROTC program?
Well, I wanted to get into the high schools, and ROTC was a thing. I got a background in math and teaching, but I wanted to do the ROTC program because I get to still the feeling of being in the military and actually giving the kids a little more outlook on what JROTC and what the military is about. So we don't push them towards the military, but we actually give them a better idea of the military.
And you're a great example for students. So how and why did you get involved with the NJROTC at Norview?
So for me, I went to the International Academy at Rogemont, and so like you said, how they recruit every year from the middle schools. Well, when I was in 8th grade, Norview came to my school, and my sister was at Norview at the time. She was a former cadet in the program, and she was a junior in the program. And so I had heard a little bit from her about the opportunities that she had had and how they were helping her so much with applying to college and how it really helped with deciding what she wanted to do in her future. But First Sergeant came to school, and he brought some cadets with him that had graduated from my middle school, and I knew most of them that were there, and they talked about what they were doing in the program that they were. It was their first year in the program, and he just told me so much about how it could help form you as a good citizen. And the people up there that he had as examples, I knew them. And so I got to see the change that, last year they were goofy kids at my middle school, and now I see them up there in their uniform and they're very poised, and they just seem like better people. And I knew that that's what I wanted for myself, so that's why I wanted to go to Norview especially, and I wanted to do ROTC.
So what has the impact been being involved in our NJROTC program for you?
So ROTC has a huge impact on my life. I think it's really shaped me for who I've become and a lot of my morals and values. So despite what a lot of people think, it doesn't make you into a military soldier. It really just builds citizenship. So our the three things that we promote is honor, courage, and commitment, just like the Navy, but just those values of honor and sticking to something once you decide you want to do it. It's really shaped me to just be a better all-around cadet. So like for me, being on staff in ROTC, you get to work with all the instructors, and they're all retired military people or officers, or it just depends on which one, but they can all teach you so much about life and the different opportunities that you have. And especially for Sergeant, he's been my mentor since I was a freshman, and
awesome.
He's just, it doesn't matter what it is, it doesn't have to be ROTC related. He has just always encouraged me to do my best and to stick with whatever I wanted to. Like my freshman and sophomore year, I started softball, and it wasn't really for me. I wasn't good at it, and I didn't really want to play anymore. But for Sergeant, I always said you have to stick it out. You have to at least finish the season. You don't have to come back, but you have to finish what you started. And it's just those little values that he's instilled in us that I think we incorporate throughout our lives.
That's great, because I see she's very decorated, and it speaks to tell me about some of the competitions your students have participated in.
Well, we since I've been here for 13 years, we have made it to what we call our state championship is Area 5 state championship, and they take the top 10 schools. We've been there for the last 13 years, and out of those 13 years, whoever come out of the top two, they actually, the top 2 or 3 out of there actually go to nationals. We qualify for nationals 9 out of the last 13 years.
That's impressive.
And in the last 4 years, as a freshman, she's been to nationals all 4 years. And the area-wise and everything, we've pretty much, we do very well. We have an outstanding track team inside our program, #1 in the country. Our 8x200 relay team has been #1 and still hold the record for that.
How do you prepare for these competitions?
Well, we actually prepare. We have general practices and everything throughout the weeks. During our season. Our season pretty much runs from September all the way up until National, which is in April. And we have practice from 06 in the morning to 07, Monday through Thursday. And yes,
she's laughing.
And we have in the afternoon, after school, we send them to study hall for at least a couple hours. We'll go see the teachers, and then we go right into practice. And that's Monday through Thursday from like 2:15 p.m.
And I want to ask this question because I'm listening to what he's saying, and that's a challenge to me. I'm sure it is for students, but what do you find to be the most challenging part of NJROTC?
Definitely the most challenging part is trying to balance your schedule, but that challenge that it imposes on you, it makes you more organized and much more of a planner. Like you said, we have practice from 6 in the morning, and a lot of times we don't get home till 6 o'clock at night because we practice until 5:30. So I mean, when you have a 12-hour day to plan for, you really have to plan. Like, you have to do your homework the night before. You have to get your books in order for school, and then right after school, you're going to see your teachers to make up any work, and then going right to practice. So you have to plan your schedule, and you have to plan what you want to do that whole day. And although it is a challenge, it does grow you as a cadet.
What do you like the most about being in this program?
I think the thing that I like the most about being in the program is getting to learn from the retired service members. Like, First Sergeant has just taught me so much about the Marine Corps and the different opportunities available to me. And our SNSI, which is our senior naval science instructor, he's a retired lieutenant commander from the Navy. And he has helped me with planning for college and trying to get scholarships and just every aspect of my student life and student career. He's helped me all along the way. And I think that the opportunities that ROTC has provided for me for all the different paths that I can take to success, that's the biggest aspect that's helped me.
That's why you have so many students involved. But other than your competitions, what other activities or community service activities or things that your group is involved in?
Well, we do a lot of community service. A lot of community service. We actually and we give out to the community. We have an elementary school right next to us, and we take care of them during the Christmas time. We'll go take care of them during that. We have our we do a lot of color guards for in the area. But our biggest thing is taking care of the community during the community service and going out and doing things with the community. And our elementary school, that's one of our biggest things. All right, because that's the future.
They love Halloween time.
Yes, we do our candy harvest during the Halloween time, and they come over and they parade around in their uniforms or in their costumes, and that's one of the biggest things. But our community services, we're real big on community service.
Right. So, Rachel, what are your plans after high school?
So after high school, I will be attending the Marion Military Institute. So what that is I've been appointed by the Merchant Marine Academy, which is a federal service academy where it's a strict regimental lifestyle of PT and or physical training and uniforms, and it's a very regimental lifestyle. But upon graduation, you commission as either an officer in any branch or into the merchant seaman. So what they've done is they appointed me for a year of prep school at Marion Military Institute. So I'll go to Alabama for a year, and I'll take the same classes that I would take my first year at the Merchant Marine Academy to prepare me for that.
Is this a full scholarship?
Yes.
Wow, that's awesome. So, Officer Bertrand, I know you have a lot of great students, but what do you hope your students learn from being a part of this program after 13 years?
I hope they learn the family orientated that we have. We have a large family of cadets, and I say family and our brothers and sisters, but we treat each other like that. And we have a lot of kids that graduate and they're on to the academies, such as she's getting ready to go to the academy, and I want them to learn to give back. Give back to your unit, give back to your community, and they do that. They come back and they give back. Even with our graduates, we have several at all academies. We have one graduating from West Point this year. We have one that's still in West Point. We got one graduating from the Citadel. We've had several that's graduated from VMI. We have 2 pilots right now, one Marine Corps pilot, and both of them are former graduates and everything. And they did other things here. They played sports and football, whatever. And some of them are Dotson Scholars, which we have a Dotson Scholar program in there, and 2 of them are graduates from there. Our scholarships and everything range for average over like $4 million in scholarships and everything.
That's
and
wonderful.
We have our $1 million kids and everything. Like she's one of them $1 million kids, and she's going to be our first one that actually going to that academy that she's going to. So we're real proud of that, and we just want them to just come back and give back and keep doing the good things that they're doing.
And this is awesome, and you're well decorated, so we know that this program is really doing some awesome things. So thank you both for coming on the show today to talk about the NJROTC program and your future plans. So thank you for coming on the show today.
Thank you.
And we want to thank you for watching NPS Now. It airs weekly on WNPS Channel 47, or you can view us online at www.npsk12.com. If you have any great story ideas or information you'd like to share, email us at nps_news@npsk12.com. Again, we want to thank you for watching NPS Now.